Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I just realized I'm jumping in here and forgot to turn my camera on. There I am. All right, fantastic. There we go. I didn't want you to think I wasn't here, but you probably knew because you're somebody that can communicate to the other side when it comes to pets. An author, a mentor, you are just a fantastic person if somebody has a pet, and who doesn't love their pets. Vicki Draper joins us again. Hi, Vicki.
Hi.
It's great to have you back. And we're going to talk about something today that makes me feel guilty. I'm going to tell you right now. Go ahead, tell everybody where we're going with this.
Yes, we're going to talk about the power of play with your pets and how important and how valuable that is to them.
I'm saying I feel guilty because I know it's so important. I can see it in my dog's face and his excitement. And I think I speak for a lot of people that we get so busy that we just put that aside or say, yeah, I'll get to that. I'm going to play with him. And then life goes on, and it shouldn't be that way because they want to play with you. Why do pets want to play so much? Why is that?
Well, they are in the present. And so they're always in the moment. And we're not as people. Actually, there was a study that showed we're 50% present, or present 50% of the time.
Yep.
And our animals are just waiting, going, come on, I'm ready to connect. I'm ready to connect. And so play with us, with humans, we're present. It's like you're singing or you're, playing, we're present. And our animals love that. And they know the difference. And I want to share this message because I've been guilty of it myself. We're humans, we have lives. And so it's just taking time to realize it is important to them. So I have a morning routine where we have play. I'm starting my day with play with my two cats, Spirit and Sapphire. And so we start the day playing. So we're playing it, and it sets my mood for the day, which is very nice, different than getting up and worried about, my to-dos. And so then it just brings me joy. I know it brings them joy, and then there's no guilt.
Yeah. And I've always said that. And when it gets warm out, I'll spend more time running around the back end. Now it's warm out. Now I don't have an excuse. Or it's 8:15. My dog he's almost, and I think you maybe you can speak to this, but a lot of animals are so habit driven. By 8:15 on the couch on the ottoman, he's like, "Meow," and he just lays on his side. He hangs out, but then he'll get a boost of energy and then go grab a toy, and he's up like, let's play. Now I'm tired. I'm like, oh, all right, I'll throw it once, maybe I'll throw it twice, but it's not good. I know it's not good. And we need to take that time because that they are living in the moment. God forbid the door opens, your dog runs out, car comes, don't even want to talk about the rest that could happen. You have to live in that moment, right?
Yeah. And I'll tell you a story that I have lots of stories. What I'm going to share right now is in my classes, it was a class I taught on all the chapters in my Bridging True Love Connection and Healing book. It started out as a live class, and it was so powerful, the results, that I shifted it into, my book to help more people. So what I do is the first of the 8-week series, I said, put it on your calendar, time to connect with your pet. Because we have it in our schedule. We have no excuse, we can buffer time, I even just say, even if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it doesn't have to be this big, long thing, but just to get in the habit of it. And so for this class, it was the healing techniques that I was teaching them to practice. And so she had put it on her calendar, and it came that time, and she was going to blow it off. Well, her dog started just acting out like ways he never had before, because he knew that was his time, and she was about to let it go. And so she came to class going, just telling the story, and he's like, he knew. I said, yeah, they know.
Almost like an internal clock.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that is how important it is to them for us to really connect. And so I want to, so for those listening, I want to put it out there. How many of you are walking your dog, yet you're on the phone with somebody else? You're not with your dog. And it's things we kind of just take for granted. Oh, we're out, we're with them, but they know the difference.
I know that they're habit driven, but not to the point where they could even not tell time, but they know, this is a routine that we should do this. And you know what? It's good for, us, the guardian, to set that routine. Think about this, like you do it first thing in the morning, you'll play with them. If you did it at the same time every day, it wouldn't be a chore. You wouldn't have to think about it. You just would do it, spend 15 minutes, whatever, even 10, whatever it might be, and just stick to that routine.
Well, exactly, because it's making it a habit.
Yeah. And think about how beneficial it is. We all talk about how as humans we're supposed to get exercise. Your pet's not getting exercise. When my dog gets exercise, it's horrible. And today,
A win. Let's share a win.
this is how he gets exercise. First thing in the morning, I will open up the cold cut drawer of the refrigerator. He knows that sound, and he knows I'm going to throw him a little piece just for fun. I always do. He comes running up like 3 flights of stairs, and that's his exercise. It's not
okay.
Yeah. Or he's outside and he might hear another dog barking and then run a little bit, but it's not sustained. It's just a quick burst. But if I go out there with a frisbee, a stick, or anything, or if I just run around and just like challenge him, like, hey, come get me, he'll do it for 2 hours. It wouldn't even matter. Yeah.
And so anytime that you can, I'll tell you, it'll set your day. I like to do it in the morning because it sets my day. It just brings this joy to the rest of my day.
When you communicate with animals, what do you get back, the feedback? Have they actually said to you, like, I like it when me and my guardian or person, however you want to refer to them, plays along with me? What do you hear from them?
Yeah, well, what's interesting is for them it's bonding and connecting. Like I said, we're really present with them. They love that. And so finding a play that is, well, play's not play if it's fun for one and not the other. So really listening to your animal intently, they're doing something naturally, and incorporate that. And the reason I say that is because I had one client I worked with. She was complaining because her dog wouldn't chase the ball, and so she thought something wrong with the dog, or and I said, no, he just doesn't like playing ball. And so we found a different way to play, and so then they went off happy and doing that. So our pets have preferences too. Like I have 2 cats, and they each, with the same string toy, like it differently. One likes it creepy crawly on the ground, and one likes doing jumps. And so I'm having, raising it. So it's really getting in tune with your animal and, exploring with them.
It's funny you should say that. So two quick thoughts come to mind with the toy. I can throw something to him. He doesn't bring it back. Or he does, but then he runs. And sometimes I'm like, can you just leave it so I can pick it up and throw it again? And we can do this again and again and again. And sometimes it's a little frustrating, but that's how he plays. That's his game. But you just spark something in my mind that, like, I'm thinking today, I have this to do, that to do, so, like busy. But taking those 10 minutes, I'll feel better. Just even mentally, physically, forget about, the animal for the moment, but that's all part of it as well. It makes such a huge difference overall for everybody if you just take that time to play with your pets.
Exactly, because that's a lot of my work is dual like that. Like you said, it's the pets are being happy, and it's really helping you be happier too.
Yeah, it's almost like it's therapeutic, but we don't think that.
Right.
We think about the schedule and just finding the time and squeezing that in, and yeah,
Like it's a chore, it's a have to, and it's a mind shift. Oh, I get to play with my dog today, or
it's funny in what you do. It's almost as if you're like a marriage counselor, because a marriage counselor can meet with both parties uh, you just said it's got dual purpose.
Yeah.
You're talking
Yeah.
with the guardian, and then also the animal and the pet. Yeah. How
Well,
interesting.
it is because I do feel like the mediator. And so I'm like, the person's wanting something. I'm saying, well, this is what your animal is thinking. So I get them on the same page. And so we find that because like sometimes clients want to go do agility with their dogs and their dog will do it because they love us. They'll do it, but it might not be their passion. And so I do help people go, um, yes, he would love to do that with you, or no, how about nose work instead? This would be really where he would excel. It's finding the pet's preferences, and then that way you're both happy.
It's funny when you say mediator, the first thing I think of is like you talk to the guardian or the owner, all right, and say, it'd be like, all right, well, we have a settlement here. Your dog doesn't want tap water and wants spring water. So that's one thing. And I need you to play at least 10 minutes every day. Okay. Are we in agreement on this thing right here? And we're good. Sign off on it. We're done.
Well, I'm laughing, but there is some truth to that because that's where a lot of animal behavior or we call it misbehavior. They're just letting us know something's out of whack, that something's not getting met. And so like, right, when we sign off on it and there's an agreement, then the animal's happy, so the behavior shift.
Shifting gears for a second, I always wonder about this because you connect. Do you believe in past life regression? Do you believe that reincarnation, pets come back? Yeah. You do? Okay. Yeah. And do they tell you that? When you communicate with a pet, would you be able to learn that?
Well, the scope of my work is, since animals are in the present, I deal with the present. Sometimes when it's relevant, that yes, we do go explore that.
So I guess it comes up when it needs to come up in conversation.
Exactly. I don't go looking for it because we're dealing with the present with the animals. However, it does come up, and sometimes we go back for the healing to really clear for this life. And then one client, like when her dog passed, there's soul connections. And so when the dog passed, I was there helping holding the energies, because that's one of the things I do if people really want that. And so Sophie's soul went on up to where it goes when you pass. But they made a contract, and I could see that contract that Sophie would come back to her in this lifetime. And so that was really interesting to see that contract being made and it happening.
Very interesting. Wow. I'm learning more about energy and positivity. Do you ever detect negative energy coming from a pet? Do they have it?
They take on our negative energy or the environment's negative energy. And then that's what, when clears, we can get some behavioral issues, because some of the aggressive dogs, it's just energy that we need to release, and then the aggression can go away or goes away. That's not every case, but there are some, yes. So because they're energy sponges, they're empaths. And so if somebody, if they're we're humans, we have life. So if a household is a bunch of anger processing people, then the animals are going to be picking up on that. It's not theirs, yet they're going to be reacting from that place. And so then we clear that. That's what's important to have a regular clearing session. I have clients that have been with me for years and years, where we do a monthly, just because life happens. And so we just keep them tuned, the animals tuned up, so they're going through their stuff, but the animal doesn't have to suffer.
Wow. Okay. So, and by the way, we're talking with animal communicator, author, energy healer, and just a great person when it comes to your pets. Vicki Draper is with us. Healing Your Animal. Is it Healing Your Animals or healyouranimal.com, right?
healingyouranimal.com.
Healingyouranimal.com. Is it safe to say, Vicki, that it's almost like a clean slate when you have a pet? Like there's the negative energy isn't there, and it's all coming. Like, let's say your dog is aggressive. Where's that coming from? Is it because of what they're experiencing?
That can be. Sometimes they have, the chemical imbalances that, that it really is a physical thing. But that's where my work helps separate that out and know. And so a lot of people come to me before they put their animals on meds because they want to know, right? They want to see what they really are, see if they can help their animal without the regular medication, if that's possible.
What about somebody who says, "Oh, pit bulls, watch out, they're always aggressive." Is that really the dog, or is that what the dog has experienced? And let's factor out chemical imbalance. So that's something totally separate.
Well, I have met some very sweet pit bulls. So part of that is breeding, if they're being bred to bring out the aggressive trait in them. And then, then their environment, because then some of them are trained to be attack dogs, but if you're starting neutrally with the pit bull, they can be a very, very, very sweet breed. So when cultivated, in a
positive way, maybe.
Yeah.
Love that.
So it's not to say that the initial instinct, because it depends on the breeding, what their natural instinct is, but they've got a bad rap is that they're always aggressive, and that's not true.
And I can even see it in my, you have two cats, I have two cats, and I can see in one of them, he's not aggressive, but he can be a little bruiser, a little bully. But that's only because of his environment. My kids will say, "How come he's mean to me?" Well, because of what you're doing. Like you may be doing something to him, or sometimes they'll kind of like squish him a little bit or whatever. Or he gets chased by the dog, and he'll stand up for himself. But I would like to say he was a little bit sweeter at one point, but I just, like we say, it's the environment, and you're a product of your environment, I guess.
Well, and it builds up. And that's where I am the catalyst that helps clear that.
Yeah.
So that then they're fresh again.
Yeah.
Right.
I totally got what you're saying, because it's almost like you as a human, you have emotion, and sometimes you keep the emotion inside, and you have a bucket that gets filled up, and it gets to the point where it can't deal anymore. And it just spills from the bucket.
Kind of explode, or
however you're going to, you could cry, you could explode, you could, whatever it might be. But the same thing with your pets, they're dealing with stuff, and fortunately you can wipe the slate clean. How do you do that? Is it through Reiki? Is it, chakra balancing?
A little of both of that. And then one of my skills is really tapping into that, and then just wiping it clean. People that want to try to do it themselves, because I'm skilled because I've been doing this for so long, but I do teach for people that want to be empowered and do it, is to pretend you've got to protect yourself. So you don't want to take on what you're releasing from your animal. But so, just hold your hand over about 1 inch above their nose, and go over their head and go all the way down, aligned with the spine, but you're above the body, all the way out to the tail. And your hand is collecting all the lower level energies and flicking it off.
Wow. All right. So let's say, the animal's right here, you're over to your dog's nose, and then just like you said, inch above their body.
Pass over and then flick. If you want to protect, make sure you don't take in all of that energy that's coming off of them. And then envision their body being replenished with like white light, because we want to replenish it with a positive vibration.
Wow. So that's what we're talking about here, is just a simple, call it low level type way of releasing, call it negative energy.
Yeah. And instead of calling it negative, I just say heavier. 'Cause negative kind of implies bad, but it's life, it's what is. And so it's energy that is just dragging the system down, no longer needed. It's gotten uh, bogged down just by life.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's I that's an easy way to start, but it goes layers deeper. I personally wouldn't. I know you teach it, but there's a reason I go to the groomer and not take out the shears myself.
Well, exactly. And so that's one of the techniques I teach in the Bridging True Love Connection and Healing between you and your animal, in helping you maintain that with your animal. So my books are a great resource if you're a do-it-yourself type person, because I don't hold back. I, share my knowledge of what I've been doing for over 20 years in my private practice, and because I really care about you and your animals. I really want all the animals to have their best lives. And if I can make an impact in that, I'm happy.
Yeah, and I love that. It's almost like you're an advocate for animals. You speak for them. I have no idea what's on my dog's mind, except he always wants to eat. I got that. That's like, and he's treat driven, food driven. But short of that, I don't know what he's thinking. I wish I did. I stare at him, and sometimes I wonder if he knows what I'm thinking. And he picks up on my thinking. I do. I really do. I'd be laying there in bed and I'll be thinking about something, maybe maybe not the perfect day, whatever. And I'll look at him, and then sometimes he'll just walk up and start kissing you. And I'm wondering, is he picking up? Like, is he thinking like, yeah, I need to do that? And make
Well, he's sensing that you're concerned about something. And so that's his way of reaching out and having compassion.
Do you think that he's feeling the energy?
Yeah.
I love that. It's
Yeah.
it's super cool how they can pick up on it, but that's normal to them.
It is. Go ahead. Because I have two cats, and so depending on my mood or what I'm going through, one of them, they have their specific way they're helping me, but depending on which mood that is, will depend on which cat is helping me.
And that goes along with something that I heard very recently, maybe I think it was even yesterday, that people are put in your life for a reason, to help you heal, whether you want to believe it or not, even if your partner, spouse, whatever it might be, whether you're still with them or not, they were there for a reason. And so is that next person, or so is that friend, or that new friend, or that old friend that's been there for forever. And maybe it's the same thing with your pets. Somehow you found them. There's a million pets out there. Why that one? And why that one?
Exactly. They are our greatest teachers when we choose to
listen
and see it that way. And that's why it's important to work with someone like me, because when we're in our own stuff, we have blind spots.
Absolutely.
And so I have somebody that helps me with my cats, because they can see a bigger picture than I can see with my own cats, because I'm involved in it.
Yep.
And so that's why having someone like me is very instrumental, because there's a non-bias and it can get the full picture and really help make those transitions that make a difference for you and your animals' lives together.
That's fantastic. It's even something as just elementary of playing with your pet, which is how we started talking today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A reminder, it's so important and beneficial, but we kind of blow it off. Tell everybody how they can work with you, how they can connect with you, Vicki.
All right. The best way to get in touch with me is go to healingyouranimal.com. And from there, you can sign up for a free assessment. You scroll down the page and we'll discuss your needs and concerns and set up a plan of support. And also another way is from my website. Healingyouranimal.com is the place to go to see all aspects of getting information from me and my business. And so I have a YouTube channel. Up in the top right corner, there's a contact us section. That's where you can get my social media, and then you click YouTube. I realized yesterday, because I'm posting our videos of our conversations together up there too. And so I have over 100 videos that will help you and your pets with what I'm talking about. And then the next step is I'll have free information that you can do. I have a newsletter that send out free tips in twice a month. And then if you want to, the books, great way to get a lot of these tips and tools. And then you hire me for a session. That's where the deeper work can really happen.
Yeah. And what's great about your website, you have so much information on there. So if this is new to you, the chakra thing, this, energy balancing, this Reiki thing, whatever that is, it's there to help you and your pet and learn more about it. Or even on the communication side, whether it's a pet that's passed or is here, Vicki can definitely help you out. HealingYourAnimal.com. Always a pleasure talking with you, Vicki.
You too. It's all right. Look forward to our next connection.
Yep. Look forward to it. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.